Okay, battery power is back, session 2. Just want to demonstrate the shading needles and what pattern I like to use for them. Again, 39, 7SS, and SS stands for Super Smudger. It's lovely to smudge out eyeliner for as well. Let's take a look at this one up close. So these are spaced pretty far apart and they're very wide needles. And I'll show you the motion to use to get that wonderful smudgy effect. I like to actually thin out the color when I'm creating a smudgy effect for the eyeliner. And then we have the round 36 needles round, and these are pretty wide gauged as well. So I'm going to try the brown this time around, see how well that shows for you. I'm going to put on my little pigment ring here. If anyone knows where to get better pigment rings, I'm all ears. They're either too small for my fingers or too large. It drives me nuts. So I'm going to dip my 36 into the pigment. I'm actually using SofTap Cafe au lait. Tiny bit on there. Let's see, I'm going to zoom in for this. So when shading, if I'm doing this on the actual skin, now these needles are angled, so you want to make sure they're all placed on there at once. Don't pivot this way or that way. Keep it straight. Set them all down. Make sure you have some pigment on the area. And here's what I do. I tap, 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 and then I tap in that same one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go really slow and space it out to show you what I'm doing. I tap once, and then when I tap again, I'm going half my needle space forward, half my needle space forward again, and half my needle space forward again. So I'm doing 1, but imagine this was a straight row. So I'm going 1, only half my needle space, half my needle space, half my needle space. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, like a dance move. Go back over that last one again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me zoom in a little more. I'll demonstrate. I've gotten the best effect using this pattern with the SofTap needles. Okay, here we go. Needles are on there. A little more pigment. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how well the brown shows here. I'm getting that soft shaded effect. It's not a straight solid line. The same thing with the 7SS here. 7 Super Smudger. It's hard to keep your pigment on these needles. It's a little goofy. You gotta get used to it. Just because they are so wide. So I usually glob on a little more than average with these. Same thing. 1 tap, I'm moving my needles halfway forward. 1 tap, halfway forward, 1 tap, halfway forward. I go right back over that same one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going right beside it. And it kind of just speckles the color in the area. It distributes nicely on the skin. And you don't have to work in as much pigment when using the 7SS. It gets in a lot at once. That's how I fill in and how I use the shader needles. Same thing with the 39. Sometimes I'll do a little more solid, do my 10 taps in each spot, and then towards the end, use that back and forth dance motion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can actually change the direction So from horizontal to vertical, back and forth, or create an X. Where are we here? I'm going straight. You can change your pattern. It just gives you and when shading, I let the skin bounce more. That's important to know. You don't need that strong three-way stretch like you do with the blading, or if you're creating a very strong defined line, I like to let the skin bounce a little more. Let me fill this in a little more so I can show you the difference between here. The shading with the 39, and I'm going to use the 24 right next to it, which gives me that defined line. You can practice the same thing at home. Do a couple right beside each other to see the difference. Oh, it says some purple on it. Purple line next to it. This is nice and even for everyone to see here. Beautiful. So there's a difference, the shading and a defined line. So I'm curious to know if anybody else has some questions for me, or some tips you'd like to pass on along my way. I'd love to learn. I hope this helped everyone a little bit, and don't hesitate to ask me any questions.